that was a rude awakening, but at the same time, much needed to just realize, like, hey, it doesn't matter what your creds are. You got to earn your way to make a living.
Your body's got me weak.
Welcome to the Nashville Drummers Podcast, episode 72.
Today's guest is Donnie Marple. Big thank you to Lowboy Beaters, Jeremy and Nate, for making the connection. Man, it was really great talking to Donnie. He has such an incredible journey and story. Many of you may know Donnie. For anyone that has historically watched the Guitar Center drum-offs, Donnie is the 2007 drum-off champion, and he's currently the full-time drummer for country artist Lee Brice.
A couple things really stood out to me in the conversation. One was his focus on staying in the moment and not overthinking what you're about to go and play. And the second was that he is clearly, from our conversation, still working on dialing himself in more. He's still actively trying to improve. And that's not a given with anybody, but he's a serious badass and he's trying to become even better.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was really inspiring, especially, someone that has won some of those drum off or any sort of competition at a young age. Like you said, it's not a guarantee for a successful career. And it was cool hearing him discuss how he got the gig with Lee Brice and that whole journey. He also shares his time performing a drum solo at the Buddy Rich Memorial Concert, meeting his idols and legends, including Neil Peart, Thomas Lang, who else? Chad Smith.
Chad Smith smacks him on the ass.
Yeah, just crazy. I mean, if we were to meet probably any one of those drummers, it'd be a life-changing moment. So really glad we got to sit down with Donnie, and we hope you enjoy episode 72.
I like your soul, baby. You got that heart made of gold, baby. I'm gonna love you till I'm old, baby. I just wanna be your baby. I like your soul. I like your soul. I like your soul. I like your soul. And just so you.
All right, so besides toy boat and Irish wrist watch, what other tongue twisters do you enjoy to perpetrate?
It's the only two I know off the top of my head. I know that there's more. Mm. Yeah, I looked up tongue twisters last night because I'm a dad and I have two girls. And
how old?
6 and 8.
Awesome.
So I was, they were bored. I was like, well, let me Google something. So I Googled tongue twisters, and there's a bunch of them. So if anyone's bored, you should get on Google.
Kids, did they love that? Yeah.
They loved it. They like the Irish wristwatch one, but you're supposed to say it 3 times fast. So
right, that is hard. Yeah.
It's a tough one. I'm not going to embarrass myf anymore. I already have.
I mean, my brain went. We're already talking about funny movies. My brain went to immediately Will Ferrell, and the arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Whatever works. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Big fan of the show.
Thank you.
It's been a long time coming.
Oh,
so
dude,
I'm
awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I want to shout out our friends at Lowboy Beaters for connecting us.
Yes.
Officially.
Thank you, Nate.
Jeremy and Nate.
Yeah.
Love those guys. And you're going to be seeing a lot more Lowboy content. And they've been connecting us with more of their artists. And
yeah.
Yeah. Stoked to have you here.
Yeah. He's a good booking agent, apparently, too.
Yeah.
He lined us up. Like, okay.
Got it done.
Yeah, it was an immediate yes. And so, yeah, it was a really cool connection.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we're excited to get to know you more.
Yeah.
Where should we start? So you're kind of talking beforehand. You've been the touring studio drummer for Lee Brice for over 8 years now. Is that correct?
Well, I think this October will be 13.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to update your bio then. There you go.
Yeah, chances are I do. I have a bio? Okay, yeah.
Your
okay,
website? Yeah.
Yeah, I started with him. I'm 30. I'm 37, and I started with him when I was 24. So,
wow.
Yeah, I was just a baby. So yeah, and I'm still there. Yeah, we just got back up and running again this year. So we had about 4 months off with Lee. He does an acoustic tour. It was always his dream to do that, and it was called Me and My
Artist Dream, Drummer's Nightmare. Yeah.
Right.
We're doing an acoustic tour in the UK.
Yeah, exactly. It's called Me and My Guitar Tour. So very original. And but it was one of his dreams to do that, and he tells his whole life story, and goes through the whole show. I've never seen it, but I think it's pretty cool to experience that side of Lee, the big softy is what I call him. He seems like a tough guy and kind of redneck, but he's definitely got a soft side, you know, with his family and stuff. So it's been kind of I was telling you earlier, it feels like I was going through like that COVID again. I was like, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do? And I just learned to kind of just slow down and just try to play as much as I could and enjoy my family and hobbies and stuff. But I'm glad we're back up and running. So that's my happy
It's
place.
going to be a busy year for you guys.
Yeah, very busy. We got a big fall tour coming up with Live Nation, a Live Nation fall tour. So we're excited about that. Having a couple guys come out with this Jackson Dean is one of them, one of the guys that's supporting us out there. I'm a big fan of him. It feels good to do like a big thing, like a real thing, like a full-on tour when you get used to having the same acts and stuff. Because Lee's one of those artists where, you know, it seems like a lot of one-offs. Like every weekend's kind of just a casino ballroom here, and then a private here,
like a festival,
and then a festival, or opening up for Dirks here, and so you know he's very in demand, Lee, but he's just kind of, you know, rode that line of just being able to stay consistent and throughout his whole career. So it's been, I get to see a lot of different things and experience a lot of different venues and styles of shows and stuff. So that's been, I love that part. You never know what you're going to get sometimes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially playing for that long with an artist, you know, you get to see.
Yeah. I mean, when I started with him, they were just on one bus and a trailer. And I think they just got that not that long before I started. And so I've got to see a little bit of that growth, you know. Yeah. For the tractor trailers come in and the multiple buses, and finally got a drum tech, which was like, I'm still pinching myself.
Yeah, right.
You know. So that's like, you know, it's just been cool to see it's so gradual you don't even notice it, you know.
Right.
With someone, you know, that I'm sure you guys have interviewed many drummers where it seems like it's almost like I can't believe we're playing stadiums, you know.
Right.
Yeah. But it's been cool to have that gradual ride with him. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that relationship start?
Yeah, he has his side and I have mine. Yeah. So how it started really was mutual friends. He's a songwriter too, Lee, and so he was doing a lot of demos. You know, he was touring, but then he still is. Like he writes a lot. And he had some demos that needed done at Curb Records, and I was new to town, and he wanted a little bit more sophisticated playing, a little bit more busy. He was doing a lot of drum programming, but he wanted a drummer to be able to come in and kind of duplicate that kind of stuff, like the fancier hi-hat stuff and fills and
the human feel.
Yeah, exactly. And so I didn't know what I was getting into exactly. I just said yes, and it was it was my first country session.
You just said yes. There you go.
Yeah, I said yes.
Just quote right there.
Just say yeah. Well, I did it, and there were several writers, and I came in lugging in my drum set, and seeing like, oh, this is a real studio. This is cool. And then seeing other guys bring in their guitars and bass, and I was like, and then they left. I was like, oh, those weren't the players. They have techs. Lucky them. That's cool. But then, it was like one of my first sessions ever he was one of the writers. And after that session, he came up to me. He was like, man, where'd you come from? I was like, well, West Virginia. Yeah. I think he knew a little bit about my background with the whole the Guitar Center drum off thing, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Into that, yeah.
And I think it was kind of one of those things. He was just going to, he was just throwing it out there to see if anything would catch. And I think he enjoyed my playing because I had the mentality, to just be myself and just go for it. And if they don't like me, or they can get someone else. Like no pressure, no worries. And to jump in the deep end and being that green and not really knowing much was actually a good thing for me. Because if I would have overthought, I'm an overthinker.
Sure.
If I would have overthought it too much, I probably would have just,
You probably would have played it safe.
Would have crapped my pants and just been like, okay, I'm just going to play dumb and stupid. And, he came up to me after that and he was like, I'm holding auditions in a couple weeks. Making some changes and would love for you to come audition. And I'm kind of a confident guy. I'm not arrogant or anything, but I remember calling my family at that time. I was like, I'm going to be Lee's next drummer. I just had that feeling, and I was like, I'm going to just do it because I was a big fan of him too.
Okay, so you already knew who
I already knew who he was.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't know all of his songs, but I knew a couple of his big ones, and I just had that feeling we just connected. You know, it wasn't the playing, it wasn't that. I could just feel a connection. That was the confidence I had. It was like we hit it off. Like we're going to be friends. I
Some
think.
might say the vibe was there.
Yeah, the vibe.
I hate using that word, but
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
because you said it yourself, it wasn't your playing. I mean, you were a good player. That obviously had to be there first.
Yeah,
but
but
like,
there was definitely
there was something else.
Yeah, we were
not tangible.
instant buddies, you know. And and then I went to the audition and felt like I did pretty good. But even, you know, I'm not talking bad about. I'm still the new guy. 13 years.
That's
with the
hard to
band.
believe.
Yeah, and me being that green, you know, I could tell that they were kind of like, I don't know about this kid. I don't know, you know, because I'm
Because
kind
you
of
were 20.
yeah, I was 24.
Yeah.
So I'm younger than
That's
all
very
of those
young.
granddads too in the band. I hope they hear that part. But yeah, so they were kind of, but Lee was like, just trust me, stick with me, you know, because when I joined, they didn't play with a click, no tracks, and I was quite comfortable playing with a click. In fact, I enjoyed it, and I tried to do it, and they were like, no, that's way too fast. And so then I just started like, okay, I'll just turn it off and just, you know, and so they were used to kind of fluctuation, and they got used to that for so long. And you hear some of the greatest bands ever, you know, that just kind of go up and down, but they're tight, right?
Yeah.
So I came in and just was like, oh, it's gonna be like playing with a metronome, and they're gonna love this. And they absolutely hated it at first. But I remember talking to Lee. I was like, just give it time, just trust the process. And we baby stepped our way into finally getting click involved in tracks and
It's cool that you, like
stuff like that.
You had the support of the artist himself, you know?
Right. Yeah.
That probably meant a lot to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for the artist, I probably wouldn't have even got a call back. You know, he just saw something in me that for the future, you know, I'm very happy.
What kind of preparation did you do for that?
As far as
audition?
for the audition, I mean, they sent me, I think it was like 3 or 4 songs.
And that was in person, I'm guessing?
It was in
'Cause,
person.
you know, these days, it's so much of it now is like a video or just
No, it was in person.
send me your Instagram.
Full band, wedges. It was at sound check, I believe. And walked in, and you know, management was there. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a
all
big
these
deal.
people in suits, yeah.
And what was cool to me, it was like the best icebreaker ever. They're like, just play a little bit so we can, you know, just sound check or whatever. I don't know if I was one of the first or whatever. And then they just started, you know, the other players started to come in, and we had a jam session, and we were like, whoa, that was awesome. Yeah. And I think that's when I felt really comfortable with the rest of the audition. I was like, well, somebody should call me after this, because we just had a lot of fun in those 5 minutes of getting everybody rocking and moving. And I remember the guitar player was like, man, no matter what happens, it's Travis Bettis is his name, but he's like, no matter what happens here, I'm going to call you. Like, that was fun.
You're going to have work in this town.
Yeah.
Like,
So then that just gave me that confidence, and I was like, okay, let's just bring that same energy to these songs. And so it was very nerve-wracking, but it was fun, you know, and I'm glad I got the call. And when I did get the call, Lee, he can be a butthole. He in the nicest way. He called me, and he was like, well, hey buddy, what are you doing? You know, I waited for 2 weeks to get the call back for this, and it's like,
and it was him that actually called you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm just sitting here, you know, watching my wife at the time was here, and like family was around. It's almost like the NFL draft or something. Everybody was like watching. Like, what's he saying? What's he saying? You know? He was like, well, I got.
How excited are you in this moment?
Well, when he calls, I was like,
yeah.
I was like, well, my mind went a million miles per hour. I was like, well, if he's calling me, he's not calling me to tell me I didn't get it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of screwed up.
But he's the type that would try to give me advice to move forward and be like, so then I started like, okay, I'm just going to answer. Let's see what happens. Yeah. And so I'm sitting there like, hey, Lee, you know, how you doing? Yeah. And he's like, what are you doing? He was like, he sounded real low and real quiet. I was like, I'm just sitting here watching the Titans lose. And I was watching the Titans game. He was like, well, I hate to call and tell you this, but I got some bad news. You're going to have to clear your schedule for the next 10 years or so, because, you know, and so then I stood up and kind of like was doing that silent shot, like,
yeah,
right. And I was just really excited because I was a 24-year-old, and this is my first gig, you know, really.
And where was he at in his career at that point?
I mean, he just got off of, I think, Hard to Love went #1.
Yeah.
So that was early. I mean, that was early on. I don't know what I think that was because I remember one of the first late nights we did was Fallon, I think, and we played Hard to Love. So we were still promoting that song.
Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, that's early on. But yeah, it was a good call to receive because I just knew, I knew that I wanted to kind of start a family. I wanted to get out of my mother-in-law's house at the time and just start my life and have a real job, and it kind of reality hit me. I was like, wow, I moved to Nashville and I landed a gig. I was very thankful.
Yeah, that's like a dream call.
Yeah.
That most may never even get.
Yeah.
From the artist,
Yeah.
At that age. That's so cool.
Yeah, and I'm glad it was Lee too, because I mean he might not have been the biggest artist at the time, and he's still not the biggest artist, but
Sure.
it's just been such a fun ride,
Yeah.
It's just been such a great thing. We're family, obviously. If I'm still the new guy at 13, almost 13 years, it says a lot about him, being the core of that camp, and he's just
Yeah, that's a huge green flag when there's not a lot of turnover.
yeah. Exactly.
People are like,
Yeah.
oh, I like doing this job and I want to keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, an example, we've had buses break down with crew, and the crew had to come over to the band bus when he was like, I'll take the couch, you guys take the bunks. Like, that's just how he is. He puts everybody else
Takes care of you.
first. And
That's good.
it's just, yeah.
Love to hear that.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah, that's
how he
awesome.
is. And we know that we're representing that, and that's more about, that's what it's about, and making the security guards feel like they're so appreciated everywhere we go. And that starts there. That starts with Lee, and it's passed down to all of us, and we love spreading that love. It's just it's a good reputation, I think, because of Lee. He leads by example.
Yeah,
Let's put it that
starts
way.
from the top down, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Fallon and late night shows. Give us some memorable experiences that you've had since playing with Lee.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, one of what I remembered first was I grew up a big Brad Paisley fan because he was a West Virginia boy like me, and I just loved his songs. I loved the way he played, and I remember getting the call or someone telling me, like, yeah, we're going out with Brad Paisley, next summer, and that was like my first ever like amphitheater tour, So I was like, holy crap, I'm like Brad Paisley, this is crazy. Yeah. And so, I mean, I got to meet Ben Caesar. How do you pronounce his last name? I always forget how to pronounce his last name. Ben Caesar?
I think Caesar, yeah.
Caesar, okay. I always feel like I'm saying everyone's last name wrong. Is it Peart or Peart? One of those things.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who
is
cares?
Peart, yeah.
It is Peart,
Yeah.
yeah. I've heard
No one
Neil.
said it, yeah.
What was that movie with Judd or Paul Rudd? I mean,
Yeah.
they actually, Neil's like, it's Peart. Like, he actually says that.
I love
it. So, but yeah, so Ben was on there, and I remember seeing him like on a cover of Modern Drummer magazine years prior. And then here we are, at lunchtime in catering, like trading chops on a drum pad. And I'm like, this is so cool. Like, I'm living the dream, and I'm showing him things, he's showing me things. I was like, I'm in. I'm like, I'm one of those guys. And but that's what's cool about Nashville drummers. Everybody receives and everybody gives. Like, it's just such a balance, and because anything else, you won't make it here. It's a drummers unite type of city, and there's no backstabbing. If there is, they're out of here.
Yeah.
I love it,
Yeah, it's too small a town to be a dirtbag. You can't do it.
100%. Yeah, agreed. And,
That'll spread around like wildfire.
and that was one of the reasons I chose Nashville. I sensed that right away.
Yep.
Right away.
I wanted to circle back on something because you said that you're an overthinker. So how does that play out for you as a player, and what have you done to combat that? Because overthinking as a player can be death to your musicality and more.
Yeah, it's strange that you asked. I've been really working on my mental health a lot, and I think the overthinking. I do have ADHD. I got diagnosed with that a couple years ago, and I think it's mostly because I used to have 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 years. I'm sorry. I'm like, no wonder I had all these things to hit. Like, I should have had a smaller kid. I wouldn't have my ADHD problems.
Don't blame the big kid.
That's right.
The big kid didn't do anything wrong.
You're right. No, but
The symbols.
Yeah, the overthinking, it haunted me for years. I mean, it's one of those things when if something goes wrong and everybody kind of looks at you, that used to stick with me the whole show, and I would have horrible shows, and sometimes it would carry on for weeks, you know. I remember I missed like this one easy section in I Drive Your Truck, which is one of his biggest songs. Like it's literally like a quarter note or something. And I missed the snare and I did it one time. And then I found myself repeating, like, and they were like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I don't know. And what it is like, I was anticipating, I was thinking, overthinking, you know, like do it right, do it right, do it right. I wasn't living in the moment at all. And, you know, there's a book called The Power of Now that I read. And you know, that really kind of helped me live in the moment. Like even when I'm warming up, I'm not thinking about the show. I'm thinking about warming up. You know, where I used to be like, oh my God, there's so many people. And then I'm not even really enjoying it, you know? And so I think, you know, the overthinking has been, it can be horrible for a drummer, especially if you're the one kind of quarterbacking the show, counting songs off, because if you're, you know, the best place to be is not really alert necessarily, but at peace and just be like, I'm comfortable. I'm not thinking. I'm just here enjoying song to song and beat. Like every beat is its own beat. Every song is its own song. And I used to get Lee is known for giving me drum solos, and I used to really overthink that. Like I'm such a perfectionist. I was, you know, especially after the drum off where I had it like dialed in, and you know.
Dialing in 5 minutes straight.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you know, and Lee would just say, like, hey, go give him 3 minutes. I'd be like, so then, you know, the best solos I've ever played is when I'm not thinking about it or anticipating it. So I would say that's a big thing too, is to like, you shouldn't worry about something that hasn't happened yet. You shouldn't anticipate anything bad happening because it hasn't happened yet. Yeah. So I think that's where the overthinking for me has really, it used to be kind of a plague or, you know, a burden in my playing, but now I look at that as like I'm just able to just channel it all in and now I'm enjoying it. You know, I'm like really soaking it all in as I'm playing, where this is becoming second nature versus where it was like this, you know, and just overthinking.
Did you ever hear the Jojo Mayer's quote, "I don't want to think about my wings while I fly"?
No.
Whoa.
That's kind of what you're saying. I mean,
where can I get that tattooed? Yeah, that's good.
You got some space. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You and me both.
Yeah, that's good. That was Jojo
Mayer.
Yeah.
And I was smiling as you were saying all that because I was looking at you, very full circle, because he was asking like what was our first episode, which was us interviewing each other, you know, episode 1 and 2. I don't know if it was the first episode, but very early on, I remember specifically you saying the whole inner game of tennis, the backhand. Yeah. Like it's not your backhand, you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing.
You started like, thinking about it wrong, and now you're stuck thinking about it.
Yeah, it's not that you can't do it. You messed up once on it, and now you're thinking about it. And now
it's PTSD.
Yeah. What do they say? Hey, don't think about elephants. What do you think about?
Exactly.
You know, it's one of those things. Yeah. You know, I actually have a little inside scoop of how I sometimes focus in and zero in. That I'm about to give away.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. It's something stupid.
Golden nugget.
No, it works for me. Yeah. So I can tell when I'm in my head and when I'm not. I can tell when it's not feeling right. We've all been there. You know, whether it be hot, cold, whether you didn't warm up, maybe you had too many drinks the night before, maybe you had too much coffee right before show, whatever it may be. It seems like every show, it feels a little different. And I find like sometimes it comes effortless, you know, sometimes it's like, this is easy. But then there's times where I'm like, I'm really struggling here. So then like, that's when I would start to think like, what can I do to fix this? What can I do to fix this? And I kind of discovered something. Like I would look at I started watching my beater hit the actual drum, and it just made me go zoom. And that was, I mean, the kick drum's the foundation of the kit, right? Yeah. And when that sound, it's one thing to hear things off, but then if you visualize it and see it, it's almost, I think I'm actually just realizing this now, that helped me just focus in on one thing versus having over like a million thoughts while playing. Yeah. So yeah, if you're ever struggling with that, maybe just, or maybe it's just watching the stick hit the snare drum or something. Just zero in, and before you know it, all those negative thoughts will go away because you're just focused on one thing. And it's like, wow, look at how pretty that low boy beater is as well. You know?
Yeah.
So I have to
sponsor love.
And you're not wrong.
And in fact, I think I discovered that after those beaters. So maybe they're
it helps to have something sexy to look at.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone ever struggles with that. That's kind of been a go-to for me, to kind of putting the sound and the visual all into one place and just focus in. All of a sudden, you just snap right back into feeling good, you know?
Well, The interesting thing there is, are you familiar with the term? I think it's called the slow eye. It's a concentration technique.
Makes sense.
And it's basically, essentially, the more you look around, the more your nervous system is kind of going off. But if you just stare at one thing,
Exactly.
it centers you. Well, first of all, you start noticing when you're actually physically moving.
It's true.
You're like, okay, I'm not really rooted to that throne anymore. I've been kind of experimenting with that in my practice. And
That's actually, yeah, you're right. I think I saw a study about that where if your brain can't go different places if you're just staring at one thing, like if someone's overthinking that, they're like, even with their eyes closed, they're just rapid eye movement.
Right.
You're spot on with that. That's accurate.
There's controlling what you're looking at. Yes, science. Controlling your breath and controlling where you're looking are both giant things that I have been very important for me recently, and incredibly effective tools to help you relax.
I mean, I think it's very important to talk about it. I think some people are afraid to talk about it, but we live in a world with a lot of distractions.
Yeah.
I mean, our phones or whatever. It's so easy to just slip away, and then like that affects you after a while,
Yeah.
But you're right, yeah, and I've been kind of. It's funny, like I used to be like just like warming up for a show, I would just go as fast and as hard and as crazy. But now I find myself like doing breathing exercises, like kind of more meditative, slowing down. All of a sudden, when I sit behind a kid, I'm like, it's peace. I'm centered, versus like, it's been good. It's been good. And, maybe it's my age, maybe it's the world we live in, but life's not easy sometimes. And, I've had some personal things in my life where it could have easily made me downward spiral, and it did for a while. And but I'm glad to finally. I'm actually proud to say, I'm paying attention to some of my mental state of mind, my mental health, and I have some accountability brothers, that I also talk with about this. Mark Poise is one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Literally just pulled him up.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Because what you were just saying,
he's always been a buddy, but now we're like,
I've taken a few lessons with him. What you just described earlier about like just focusing on like he talks about the sensory. I don't know if you've talked to him about that because he has a video basically saying what you did, which is really cool. He'd be really happy to hear that.
Yeah,
just focusing on something.
We've been chilling. We've been hanging out, me and him. That's probably part of the reason why I feel like I'm doing so well with
awesome.
that. So
he's the best.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Just a quick follow up on that because that's kind of like you were talking about. Maybe if you mess something up during a gig. What about the other way? Like, do you ever find yourself like just crushing it, but then you start thinking like, man, I'm really killing it, and then you lose it then too? And then has that ever happened where it's like it's too good?
Yeah.
How do you then stay focused to not get away from that?
Yeah, I mean, you want that even keel, right? So how I do it is when it's really good, I try to be like, well, it's going good, and that's okay, And when it's going bad, I'm like, oh, it's going kind of bad, that's okay, And I try to just balance that out. That's the truth. I mean, but sometimes though, I think it's okay to like. I'm sure you guys have experienced it, like where it's an out of body experience, and you're just like, the whole show's a blur, and it was like that. Well, I wish they were all like that.
Yes.
And then you anticipate the next one being like that, and it's like it's quite the opposite. Like what the heck happened overnight? Why is it so different? And I don't understand that. Like I wish I knew. I wish we could do a whole other series on why every show feels different. The stick feels different. The groove feels different. The atmosphere.
When you figure that out, and you can bottle whatever the solution is.
You come here first. You tell nobody.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be a very wealthy man.
We'll all be rich. Yeah, we'll brand new. Yeah, don't worry, we got you.
Yeah, I mean, I do compare. I'm a big golfer.
Oh, cool.
I played college golf, and I compare a lot of drumming to golf as far as like the fundamentals. Like, I mean, it's the best players in the world. Tiger Woods himself, to start a season, he'll go up and work on his grip, his posture, and stuff like that. And but golf's one of those things that you're supposed to take it one shot at a time. You can't let one water ball destroy your whole round. And that's kind of how I look at it. With I'm like, it happened. It's already over with. There's nothing you can do about it now. where I used to be like, that would cling on to me the whole show and ruin the whole stinking show, if not a whole series of shows because of one little mess up. And I've just learned to just let it go, Yeah. So,
Do you get to golf when you're on the road at all?
yeah. In fact, I got to play for the second time this past November. I got to play Augusta National.
No way.
Thanks
Oh,
to
cool.
thanks to Mr. Lee
Yeah.
Brice, and he has some connections with the members there, and that's the home of the Masters.
Yeah.
For goodness sake. So. Yeah, I still have a divot in my pocket right here. No, I'm joking. But honestly, that there's perks. Sometimes even, especially when we were out with like Luke Bryan and some of these bigger acts, like we could swap some tickets for tee times and play some really sick horses.
His lead plays well.
Yeah, he plays. He's kind of seasonal. He'll prep. He'll play a little bit more if he's got a pro-am coming up or something like that, or if I say, "Hey, I bet you can't beat me." He's very competitive, So we've had our very competitive, Yep. I love it too. But with golf, you can be kind of competitive with yourself, and I think drumming you can apply that too.
Yeah, totally.
With trying to not really competing, but improving. I remember watching Thomas Lang, and I was like, there ain't no way I could ever play anything like him. And then I remember calling him on the phone because I met him through Drum Off too. He was one of the judges, and it's like, how do you do it? Just tell me straight up. Give me one sentence. How can I ever get to that speed or that effortless powerhouse that you are? He was like, start slow, with his Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. Yeah, he was like, like if you think it's slow, go even slower, and that's really helped too. As far as being competitive with yourself, I used to struggle with speed and chops and not rushing those things. And, to be able to look back at old videos or whatever and then see newer videos, I can see improvement, and that's our goal, is to always keep, what did Michael Jordan say? The day I stop improving is the day I leave the game. Yeah. I wouldn't say that with drumming, and I think that he's full of crap because he came back a couple times, but he probably shouldn't have. But but I agree with that. Like my goal is to, I've been in a slump. I've taken hiatus from drumming, and I think that can be healthy too. Yeah,
it very much is a sport.
Yeah. But absolutely. Any opportunity I get to improve, and my improvements are happening now, not because of what I'm doing, but from what I'm learning from other people, and just little nuggets here and there, even if it's not with sticks in hand. Like, it's amazing, just being vulnerable enough to ask for advice from, I don't care if it's the 4 p.m. slot at a festival. Like, there's something to learn from every single drummer out there. I guarantee you. So,
what have you been learning, and how have you been finding these drummers? You mentioned, like, obviously, and maybe in person at a festival, but have you been taken to like social media, or kind of what's your process?
No, not really. I tend to just be real open with what I'm struggling with. Like, and it might just be me that notices it, but if that's enough, because that will affect the way you're playing, your mental state during the show. And so I'd be like, well, this is what I'm struggling with. Have you ever struggled with that? And just open up conversation that way. So
straight up.
And it doesn't matter who, like I said, it doesn't matter what level. If it's their first year playing drums, like, maybe there's something, a nugget you can take from that. And so any chance I get, I kind of present my struggles, or maybe even if it's just what I'm thinking about in that phase of my career, I just open that door up and just say, this is what I'm struggling with. And they'll say, no, maybe nobody knows. It's like, no, this is what I'm struggling with. I want to be happier and feel more fulfilled and not have to worry about that kind of haunting thought of, I'm open to any opinions, any advice, any kind of, whatever.
That's a mature way to be. Because I'm sure, like you said, like when you tell another drummer what you're struggling with, a lot of them probably will say, oh, no, you sound great, man. Don't worry about it. Yeah. But for you to say, no, this is my struggle, and I do want to improve.
Exactly.
What's something that you're currently been working on?
Yeah, I would say, we're getting nitpicky here, but, I tend to, it's funny, because of wave files, right? So I can do a session at home or with Lee at his studio or wherever, and I can see, I can hear one thing, and I'm able to connect it now. I'm like, I can tell I'm rushing. And that's a big thing in Nashville. Everybody says, lay it back. And, that's, I don't know, that's opinion, to each their own.
Have you used that BPM app? We were just talking about that last week.
No.
You know what that is?
No, I don't think.
I haven't used. You've used it, right?
There's a couple different ones.
Yeah.
Beat Mirror is one of them. I can't remember the other one. There's kind of a main one that people use downtown,
Okay.
but it doesn't give you the tempo. It just tells you what tempo you are playing at.
Oh yeah, I've
So you
seen
can be like,
those.
I want to aim for 135, and then
Yeah.
see where you're at.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my big struggle right now is my kick drum is a little ahead, just a touch ahead, and everything else is a little.
It's because you're looking at that low boy beat, or
Maybe I need to look at it more, you know. And so I've just, and it's funny how muscle memory. I mean, I started when I was 3 years old, and some stuff kind of just sticks with you and haunts you. It's kind of like a bad habit, and it's very nitpicky. I mean, you can now with technology just go and just nudge it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have to do that.
You don't want to nudge it.
You don't
Yeah.
want to fix it. In
And I'm
post.
talking like we're talking milliseconds here, but
Yeah.
it does affect the feel.
You can hear that.
You know,
Yeah,
and
you
drummers are
really
known to rush, but I've noticed like after I do a fill and I land, you know, on a crash and kick drum, that's the kick drum that's usually ahead, and then it takes me a second to get it back.
Yeah.
We're talking milliseconds. Like I don't think anybody would really notice,
Right.
But I can tell. I can tell, and
Yeah.
so I've been trying to work on that, and just and you know, I actually saw Kevin Murphy doing a. John Party, he plays with John Party, and
Yeah.
for the listeners, but I saw him giving a drum lesson one time, and I haven't hung out with him a lot, but it was really cool because he was doing it. It was almost visual, and he was showing the waves. And I was like, let me try that, and I was shocked of where I thought I was compared to where it really was. And that's when I had to kind of put mind over matter and kind of get out of my comfort zone and just work on that.
Yeah.
And it's helped significantly. But, you know, when you're in front of 20,000 people and, you know, you got your Red Bull, maybe a little something extra in there too, and you're up there playing, you can get away with it live. But see, I tend to, you know, that's my comfort zone is live. But in a studio, that's where it haunts me.
Yeah.
And, you know, one thing that has helped me with that is playing a little lighter. I was kind of a basher, you know, I was kind of that, you know, even in a studio, I would play hard. And I've just noticed when I just relax just a little bit, just like the tension isn't there.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm not trying to lay back more. I'm not trying to make the kick do whatever, but it just does.
Yeah.
So to me, it's more of a mentality. It's more of an approach versus like trying to like get a new muscle memory. It's more of a state of mind, you know,
Yeah.
I think. So that's what I've been working on.
Yeah.
You know,
Very
I'm
cool.
playing lighter than ever. My neighbors love me. So yeah.
Hey drummers, do you need a place to practice on actual drums? Drumbox has locations in Lafayette and Longmont, Colorado, and their newest location is right here in Nashville, Tennessee. You can book sessions online and get the space to yourself. Each Drumbox location is fully equipped with 2 kits, cymbals, hardware, and even sticks are provided. 30-minute, 1 hour, and 2 hour sessions are available at www.drumbox.space. Use the coupon code ANDP25 for 25% off your first session. The coupon code is valid at all 3 locations. Again, that's www.drumbox.space.
Well, let's take a little trip back. So you just mentioned you did start playing when you were 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So why don't you take us on a little journey of your drumming life and what that looked like in your development?
Right. Well, story has it because I don't remember. I was 3. I don't remember much.
That's fair.
When I was 3. I wasn't even 3 yet. But my grandfather, he was a pastor at Assembly of God in Elk Garden, West Virginia, the smallest, most redneck little city ever. My whole family played music. When I say music, it's more like hymns meets jazz, that kind of stuff. It was like the old school Christian, you know, slapping your lap kind of, you know, grandma's clapping on 1 and 3 still, but there's no worries about that. But my grandfather played trombone. My grandmother played. He's a heck of a trombonist. He could play with anybody. My Grammy played organ. She had perfect pitch, just amazing ear. She was about 4 foot nothing, about 80 pounds soaking wet, and would use both of her feet on the bass and play the organ. My dad played trumpet. A couple of my aunts and uncles, clarinet, piano, sing. Mom was a singer. She led worship at church. And there was a drummer. His name was Rick Jackson. and he had this old Tama drum set, silver. I can't remember the name of the type of kit it was. Imperial Star, something like that. One of those old ones from the 70s. And I would sit there on the front row and just watch him and watch him and watch him. And nobody really knew I could play. I didn't know I could play, probably. But one time after church without permission, which, I mean, I was risking getting spanked probably at the time, I went up and just started playing. And I couldn't reach the hi-hat pedal. So I had to like stand up, but I played that old classic, that old classic, right?
Yeah.
And the reason that I know that is because I was told that's what I played, So I don't remember playing it, but some of the people in the congregation that were still saying byes and have a good Sunday dinner or whatever, they thought it was Rick Jackson playing, and it was me. And so that was my first time ever touching sticks. I went up and started grooving and started playing. And, that's some people, you can say it's from the universe, God gave it to me, but I truly can't take any credit for that. It was something it was that prodigy aspect. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way. I just can't explain it.
Just had that.
It was just there.
It was there.
Yeah.
And I've seen other kids. I see kids all the time now on YouTube, and I'm like, wow, he's got it. Like, you can just tell.
Yeah.
And, thank God I had something. And I was the only drummer in the family, so they needed me, so I was kind of hired. Yep, you're in the fam now for sure. Yep. And fortunately, Rick was kind enough to let me fill in, every other Sunday or whatever. So then I just started playing, every other Sunday or so, and got used to kind of performing. And I loved performing from that age on. And, through then I got into kindergarten, where I was only allowed one pencil, because if I had two, you can finish the rest of that story. And
That's the best.
My parents went to the music teacher. His name was Mr. Rochella. Shout out to Mr. Rochella if he's watching.
Shout out.
Yeah, and Rick Jackson too, for letting me bang his kit.
Yeah, way to go, Rick.
Yeah. But I was in kindergarten. My parents approached the music teacher. Like, hey, he's got like a gift here. He's pretty good, and we want to challenge him. We want to keep him playing. And so he was like, well, he can just join the 5th grade band. So I was in the 5th grade concert band from kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then finally to the 5th. So I got pretty bored.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, hot cross buns again. Come on, give me a break. Give me something.
Yeah.
But I would get little showcases and play Wipeout or whatever they wanted. If you could play Wipeout in my hometown, that means you were a good drummer.
Yeah.
And that was like that was where they set that standard or that line. And then from there I started playing, really just starting to explore other genres. But jazz was just big for me. I loved jazz. Dad introduced me to Buddy Rich, who was, to me, that was my first big influence, was Buddy Rich, and you probably don't hear a lot of that out of Nashville, being a country drummer. And in fact, talk about the Bonhams and all those guys, like that was
well later. Huh?
Well later. And so it was just cool. I started to play in like kind of all-star jazz bands, and competing with other schools and other places. And, I would get musician or solo of the awards. And I started to be like, wow, I can kind of see myself doing this maybe for a job someday. So then I was like, maybe I should just get into music education to see where I go from there,
Yeah.
But, I hated teaching. I hated even giving drum lessons back when I was younger.
Yeah.
Would love to do more of that now, especially now. But that turned into me playing with, college students when I was in high school, and then even older kind of established really good jazz musicians when I was in college. And then, from there, that's when I heard about the drum off. That's when that whole thing came.
Yeah, that was 2007, right?
2007.
I think this is an NDP first, having a Guitar Center drum off champion.
That's true.
Oh, really?
In the studio. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And talk us through that experience.
Yeah. So it was actually a beautiful accident that I even heard about it, because like I said, I was from Kaiser, West Virginia, really small city. Thank God we got internet at some point in time. And I saw this video pop up on YouTube, because that's all I would do. I would watch like 10 seconds of Dennis Chambers and let it load and go play that on the kit. And then I was like, go back out and learn another 10 seconds. And I was just so inspired, you know. I never had a lesson, not one lesson my whole life. But man, did I watch the crap out of a bunch of YouTube drummers, you know? So I gave a lot of drummers out there credit. For
well,
that.
yeah, you were ingesting so much by yourself. It sounds
Yeah,
like.
yeah, for
It
sure.
can be just as valuable, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't think algorithms were necessarily a thing, but I think they kind of were even when YouTube was even back in 2007, because I remember seeing this little thing on the side that said Daniel Rodriguez wins 2006 Guitar Center drum off. And I never even heard what Guitar Center was at this point.
Yeah.
There was no Guitar Center in the whole state of West Virginia. So, and then I clicked on it and it said finals were at, the grand finals were in Hollywood, California. I was like, well, there goes my chances. I've never flown. My family can't afford me to just go out there and try to win a competition. You know, that's probably not going to even be a thing. Yeah. And then I had another buddy mention like, man, this Guitar Center thing, they're doing drum. I was like, okay, tell me more. They were like, well, it starts in individual stores across the whole, I think it was at that time, it was like 230 or 213, something like that, across the whole country. So at the time, I mean, they labeled it the world's largest drum competition. And we talked about me being competitive. I was like, ooh, so I get to actually kind of compete.
Yeah, and it sounds like you had some of those early high school like solo awards.
For sure.
And, like,
so I was like, sign me up. You know, I really entered it because you could win a Roland TD-20 drum set.
Like, those prizes are no joke.
Yeah, and forget the car and cash. I want the electric drum set.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had parents that were patient and they believed in me. Mom, she would drive me. It was about 2 hours at least. The closest Guitar Center was in Towson, Maryland. And how they do it, it starts with individual stores across the whole country. And they would do preliminary rounds. And they would do 10 drummers for 3 nights in each store. And they would take 2 drummers from each night to then go to the store finals. And then from the store finals to the district finals. And then from the district finals to yada, yada. I'll get to that later. But what a lot of people don't know is that I finished second in the preliminary round to a guy, I can't think of his name, but he was a Baltimore cat and he could play and he was good. And I remember walking into the store like, where are you from? Like, who's this white boy walking in with a camo hat and like, what are you doing here? Like, this guy, you know, you're wasting your time because this guy goes to finals almost every year. I was like, it's like, okay, well, shoot, Mom, should we turn around? Yeah. You know, but I was like, okay, let me see what this is all about. And I wasn't prepared. I didn't know what I was getting into. I was just going to wing it. And, you know, so I ended up finishing second and I saw what it took, you know, to kind of beat this guy. And I knew I wouldn't be able to outplay him, but I could outwrite him or solo him and if I wanted to, you know.
Yeah, like you said, you saw what it would take.
Yeah, I know. I could tell what the judges were looking for, you know. I'll just go ahead and say it. I mean, I won the competition, but I wasn't the best. There's no way I was the best drummer in it. It was just how it was the work I put into it. And, you know, so the store finals happened. I finished second in the prelims, knew what I had to do in the store finals. So this is a 3-minute drum solo at this time. For me, it was like the coolest combination ever because it was strictly drums. There was no other musicians you had to worry about or try to feed off of. I mean, it was just straight up you for 3 minutes until it got to the regional finals. The store finals led to district finals where I got to actually, Aaron Spears was one of the judges there.
Oh, how cool.
So I remember watching I think it was Modern Drummer Festival of him playing an Usher song. What was that?
2006.
Yes.
Caught Up.
Playing Caught Up. Yep.
Caught Up. And I was like, oh my God, he is like a god to me. So I was very nervous. That was the first time me ever playing, knowing I was playing in front of somebody that I really looked up to as a player. And it was like such a weird feeling. I was like, this isn't right. Like I'm probably hitting these wrong, you know? But I just had to just be like, just be you, do your own thing. And I'll never forget, it was, you know, it was 3 minutes still at the district finals where he was a judge. And I had this little, you know, this part of the solo where you've probably seen it, where I do the stick flips and then I go behind my back and do it's like the showy part, which I can explain real quick. Like that part was established before the showy stuff, but I knew I had to add something. So sonically, it never changed, but I did add the flair because I knew I needed a little bit of extra something.
Yeah.
And which was fun. And a lot
Got
of
a flash on them.
Yeah, definitely.
You knew what it took. Yeah.
But I dropped a stick.
Oh no.
It was the whole, and I just froze. And the most religious probably woman in my whole family, she shouts out, "Shit!" like that. I've never heard. Nobody's ever heard her cuss. What's really funny? She's on the phone with my grandfather, who was a pastor, and she just hears her say, "Shit!" Like, oh shit, So that's really funny to me. Like it's a word everyone says now, practically.
Right.
But to come out of her mouth, like it just showed you how intense. Yeah. And everybody was supporting and wanting me, and there was like, no, it was just really funny. But somehow I still made it through. They saw the potential, and I remember Aaron walking up. He was like, "Bro, man, that was great." It's like, "Well, thanks, man." It's like, "Do you have any advice, for the next round?" He's like, "Don't drop a stick." That's all he said to me. That's it. I was like, "Okay,
just do what you did again.
Don't drop a stick."
But don't drop the stick. Yeah.
And rest in peace, man. That was a. I felt that one.
Yeah, we all did.
Because I would touch base with him here and there. I would see him at NAMM or whatever, and he always remembered me. He always made me feel like $1 million, and so that was cool. Then I went to regional finals, which was in New York. It was the first time me ever being in New York with my West Virginia small town family, which was nearly a disaster. We got lost a lot. But made it in time to do that. And, I remember Cindy Blackman, she was a judge for that one. And she was at the time playing for Santana. And I was like, man, this is pretty cool. Like, I actually had a Modern Drummer magazine of her too on the cover.
That's sick.
I think I had her sign. So, I was like, okay, it's getting heated. And I had to add 3 minutes, or I had to add 2 minutes to my solo too. So I had it down pat. I was like, I got to add 2 minutes to this thing. It's a long time, Yeah. I can't even hold my breath for 2 minutes, let alone try to come up with an extra stuff. But luckily I did, to make a long story, try to make it as short as I can as far as developing that. It came to me. I got it, and I was like, I like where this is at. And, I was prepped pretty good for that one. And Jerome Flood was actually in that regional competition. Yeah, he actually won the year after me. But I somehow got through and beat him to go to the grand finals, where I was representing the whole East Coast at that time. Yeah. And, that was a pretty cool thing, to fly for the first time out west. It's the Hollywood thing. I mean, Adrian Young from No Doubt was there, Tom Slang, Steve Smith and David Garibaldi. They got awarded some type of thing at that point. And
did Guitar Center pay for you to fly out and all that?
Oh, they took care of everything.
Yeah, you're how young? How old are you at this point?
I was 20.
Yeah, I mean, so you probably feel like a freaking celebrity, like top of the world.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Questlove was the DJ at the after party.
Oh, come on.
So I'm like, whoa, what is going on? Yeah. And I was a nervous wreck because I knew the other guys that were in it, and they were really good. But I had to just trust my gut and just stick with what I knew. And my dad actually set my drum set up in the living room just so I would have friends come over, hey, let me play this for you, and just get used to performing it for people. And Dad was like, okay, enough's enough. Don't sit behind the kit. I got a stopwatch right here. He said, play it in your head, and I'm going to stop the watch and see how close you are to 5 minutes. And so I was like, all right, go. And I sat there with my eyes closed, didn't make a peep. And then I said, stop. And he stopped it, and he turned it to me. It was 5.500 on the dot.
Oh, so, come on.
I mean, that's probably luck, but that's when I really was like, I got it down. Like, I just need to just relax and have fun with this now. And I think that's what separated me in a way from other guys, is that I had it down. Like, it was like I wrote a song that I knew. It moved me as I played it, so that's all I could do. If it moved me, I would hope
it was a part of you,
yeah.
So nothing can touch that. Nerves,
exactly.
You had it. Sound like you put in so much work, practice.
I couldn't do it now. I need to relearn it. I need to
relearn it and play it for us. Yeah.
Maybe the 20-year reunion. It's coming up.
Is it?
I think so. It's 2007 to 27.
Yeah.
Right? Wow, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
So yeah, I ended up winning the whole thing. I won a Toyota FJ Cruiser, 10,000 cash, endorsement deal, shopping sprees, and I was like,
You get that rolling electronic kit?
I
that you wanted?
did, I did,
then some,
and I just got rid of that thing like a couple years ago. It was beat the crap, but so that was a big eye-opening thing for me, and so much fun because I'm competitive, but it was such a friendly competitiveness, you know.
Yeah, are you still in touch with some of those guys?
Yeah, for sure. Ivan Garcia was one of the finalists that year too, and I haven't talked to him, but I actually just was FaceTiming Jerome Flood not that long ago. He's playing with a big Christian. Mom would kill me. I don't know his name, but yeah, he's killing the game. Eric Moore was a past winner.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to meet him and hang out with him. You know, Tony Royster Jr. was actually an early winner. They actually had to make the age older. You have to be 18 to enter because I think he won it when he was like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And, you know, some people.
Pridgeon too, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Pridgeon.
Pretty sure Pridgeon won it at 11.
Let's see. Yeah. I'm glad that I'm glad they won when they did. I didn't have to deal with them, you know.
JP Bouvet, see another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was later on. Love that guy's playing.
Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of.
That's cool. It seems like there's like a built-in camaraderie.
There is.
Yeah, even just to compete, but especially among the winners, it's like.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think they stopped doing it. They stopped doing the drum off, and, you know, I get it. It's just a.
I think Guitar Center was suffering money-wise.
Yeah.
And that's why. But
Yeah.
dude,
it's a
I
business,
hope I hope there's half of me that's like, hey, Guitar Center, man, I want them to bring it back. And I'm like, are they kind of?
Yeah, I mean, it was so good, you know, where it was. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, like I think that
we could build our own drum off, NDP drum off in Nashville.
Come on. Let's
blow it out of the freaking water.
I don't know. hey, dream big, buddy. Dream
yes.
big. That's a good idea.
Private jet.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Once we have drum off bucks, when we have the money to sponsor a thing like that, then
heck yeah.
that would
Jeremy, Nate, get some lowboy beaters.
Let's do it.
We got some sponsor connections.
Yeah.
I can afford to give you a crisp high five if you win.
That's priceless.
Some Walker Brothers kombucha.
Yes.
Shout out to our newest sponsor that we've yet to really officially shout out here, but
That's true.
drink some kombucha.
Yeah.
It's good for your gut.
It is.
Who doesn't need that?
It will make you happy and healthy forever, and you won't be able to die.
It's a bold
Drink
statement, Nate.
Walker Brothers kombucha.
They approved that
is in the
message?
small writing. That's crazy.
I think it does say that.
This says live this. No, that's 70 calories. I thought it was 70 years long.
Yeah.
Never mind. Sorry. It's pretty good. 70 calories too. Shoot, that's great.
Not bad. It's a good liquid snack.
Yeah.
How do you get the perfect Nashville kick drum tone? It starts with a lowboy leather daddy bass drum beater. This leather-faced beater occupies the sonic space between felt and wood beaters. It's punchy enough to cut through the mix on those four-on-the-floor barn burners with the warmth you need for slow ballads. Okay, but who plays a leather daddy? Garrett Goodwin from Carrie Underwood's band uses one. Lee Brice drummer Donnie Marple plays a pair. Walk down Broadway any night of the week and you're going to hear one. In Nashville, you can test drive a lowboy beater at Drumbox and grab one at Forks, Drum Supply, or Nelson's. Check out lowboybeaters.com to learn more.
Probably the coolest thing that came out of that drum off though was getting the call to. I'll never forget. I was sitting at my kitchen table in West Virginia. Like, okay, I won. Now what? Now what do I do? I was waiting on calls to come to me. It was like, nope. But I remember a call, and it was kind of the agent who managed me. They were the person that contacted me through Guitar Center to make sure I was taken care of. He was like, hey, what are you doing on October 18th, 2008? It's like nothing. I knew right then and there. I was like, I'm not doing anything. What's up? They're like, well, how would you like to play a drum solo at the Buddy Rich Memorial Concert? And that's when I said yes without even asking questions.
Yeah, especially Buddy being such a big influence.
Yeah, and I had no clue. You know, when I heard that, I was like, the only thing I can think of, because I remember the Vinnie Colaiuta, the Dave Weckl, Steve Gadd trio drum solo that we've all seen on YouTube where they trade and go back and forth. That was the Buddy Rich Memorial 10 years prior, and they've only had two. And for me to be on the flyer with Buddy and Neil Peart and Terry Bozzio, John Blackwell, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chad Smith.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's the Mount Rushmore of drummers.
Yeah, and a quick story about Chad. I was on the phone with my buddy trying to just shake off my nerves. I was like, man, I'm scared to death. JoJo Mayer was in the front row as a spectator. He didn't even get invited to play. I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I got my Sunday slacks on. I didn't know even how to dress. I didn't know what I was doing. But I walked in and I saw Kathy Rich. I recognized her because she introduced, Steve Gadd, Dave Weckl, Vinny Colaiuta, Yep. And I walked right up to her. I was like, Kathy, thank you so much for letting someone like me, a nobody, be a part of something this big. I said, your dad was a huge inspiration, and just kind of got my chance to talk to her. Yeah. I said, I just can't believe I get to share a stage with Neil Peart. I mean, you can't believe. She was like, he's standing right behind you. And I turned around, and lo and behold, it was Neil.
Oh my God.
Neil was standing there, and what's crazy, he kind of was like this, and he looked down with a little smirk, because obviously I know who he is.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd, and
He knows you know.
Yeah, he knows I know. But here's what's cool about Neil. Exactly. Here's what's cool about him. I sometimes tear up talking about it because it made me change how I approach. You never know who you're going to affect.
Right.
And I turned around and he said, "Hey, Donnie." He knew who I was. He knew who I was, and the reason he did is because he always researched who was on the bill with him. He always wanted to make sure. And you talk about making a kid feel good, and that was a special moment, because who doesn't love Neil, right? And then for him to call you by name,
that's
and
crazy.
you to be part of that, it was cool. It was special, and later on down the road, I found out that I'm in his Far Away book. He actually wrote about me in his book, and it's a funny story of how I discovered this was. My dad was a Swan Man, frozen ice cream truck delivery guy in West Virginia. And he named me after him. So his name's Donald Edward Marple, and my name's Donald Robert Marple. And so we had Donnie Marple. He went by Donnie, I went by Donnie. And there was a big drum fanatic on one of his routes, and the guy didn't know anything about me, who he was going to deliver food to. He was like, "Hey, you're in Neil's book, Neil's new book?" And Dad was like, "What are you talking about? Like, Neil who?" And that's how I found out I was in it. Was Dad he found that, he bought the book. He was like, "Hey, turn the page." I think it's 187 or something like that.
Yeah,
I have it bookmarked with my drum off pass, which is cool. And so it's pretty special to me. And he just talks about the Buddy Rich Memorial, and he talks about an up and coming Donnie Marple played the drum solo or whatever, and it was just really cool to be noted in his book, and to be a part of that legacy in a way, and just to share a stage with him. And it was just unreal. That's the highlight easily of my whole career, easily. Yeah. And I had to follow John Blackwell, a standing ovation. And
I saw him do a solo at NAMM.
Oh, it's just crazy.
Was that Tama 40th anniversary of that?
And Chad Smith was there. That's what I was going to say. I was on the phone with my buddy. I was trying to get calmed down. I'm overthinking. I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
It happens when I'm talking about this stuff because, man, it was just such a blur anyway.
Yeah.
But I was on the phone with my buddy. His name's Ranjit Shenoy. He's actually coming tomorrow to come visit me. He's still playing jazz, and I got 2 kits set up in my bonus room. I'm excited to jam out with them and play some golf with them. But I was on the phone with him, still 20 years old, scared to death. Didn't eat all day. Like I couldn't. And I was like, Ranjit, I got to get off the phone. Chad Smith's walking my way. And I was a big fan of Chad too, and I was like, why is he walking towards me? I was like, he's just going to take the turn, whatever. He's like, I kind of stood up. I was like, hey, I'm Donnie. He's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And then he put his arm around me. This was about 5 minutes before I go on. About 5 minutes before I go on. He's like, yeah, I know. You know what? You got some serious balls to be the only drummer here playing a drum solo at the Buddy Rich Memorial. Go get him. Like that, right before I went on.
What a guy!
What a guy, right? Like, I had 2 options there. I was either going to shit my pants
Yeah.
or I was going to take that and use that as like a
Fuel you,
a
right?
fuel and just like, Chad Smith just said I'm the only, he reminded me, because I was the only one doing a drum solo, which is what Buddy was kind of known for.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Well,
surprising.
the other guys got to play with the Buddy Rich band. I didn't get to play with the Buddy Rich band. I would have loved to play with them. Kathy, I'd love to play with the Buddy Rich band. So, but that was like, that broke the ice. I felt like, I was like, yeah. He kind of gave me one of those like, go get him, man. Like, have fun. And it was, he didn't have to do that. He didn't know who I was. But I think it was kind of the talk like, why is this guy's face on this flyer with us? And so they did their research. They wanted to know who the heck I was.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. I would have done the same thing. I would be like, yeah, let's cross him out maybe some other time. But Guitar Center was one of the sponsors, and that's how I got.
Gotcha.
So a huge shout out to Guitar Center for, doing the drum off for so many years, because it changed my life. It
Changed so many
changed my-
drummers' lives.
Yeah,
And just,
100%.
I know so many fans that just look up to that, and they would
Yep.
be influenced by those drummers,
Yeah, and they gave me a job when I moved to Nashville because I needed a paycheck to get an apartment.
Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember working
gosh.
behind the desk at Guitar Center, and they were promoting the next year's drum off, and my video would pop up and be like, "Yep, yeah, anything else for you today?" And they're like, "Is that you?" It's like, "Yeah, I won drum off last year." They're like, "What are you doing working at Guitar Center?" I was like, "I need a job. I can't. It's not what you think. It's not. It's not.
Stay out for as long as you can.
It's not like American Idol where you instantly get like a label deal and all this stuff and all this stuff comes
Hey,
coming
we're
to
still
you.
just drummers.
Yeah. So that was a rude awakening, but at the same time, a much needed to just realize like, hey, it doesn't matter what your creds are. You gotta earn your way to make a living.
But also, what a cool, comforting thing with Guitar Center to kind of go back to your buddies there and like this.
Yeah.
I talked with Juan a little bit after, a while after he won. And he obviously, after he didn't let the grass grow under his feet at all. He immediately built the studio up, started putting out content. Like he just was on it. I was like, so, and I kind of asked him about that. You didn't wait around. He's like, oh no. He's like, I know better. I know that there's nothing coming out of this thing.
Yeah, he was actually at regional finals too. Him and Jerome. I got through both of them somehow that year. So that was a miracle. Those two guys,
You were kicking ass. That's why.
Yeah, I learned a lot from him. Yeah, call me. I got a new number. So if he's out there listening, I'd like to
He's
touch
doing the
base with
whole
him.
education thing pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And content. He's
he's
killing
killing
it.
it.
He's so good. He's perfect. He's a natural at that. So
He
good.
really is.
Love that stuff.
Man, it's so cool here. Like just you sharing those. I feel like for a lot of us, meeting any one of those drummers would be like a life-changing event. But for you to meet all of them in one event, like
Yeah.
that's just pretty special.
Yeah, one of the worst parts, though, I told you I didn't eat or drink all day. If you watch closely, it's in the first minute or so. I get a cramp in front of. I'm at the Hammerstein Ballroom. At the time, it was called Drum Channel, and they were doing it live, like 1 million people watching live. I was scared to death. Kathy Rich introduces me. You're going to be seeing a lot more of this kid. Like, oh, shut up. Just don't oversell me. Like I just followed a standing ovation from John Blackwell, and here goes this kid. And but I got a cramp. It's like one of those hip cramps. And like you see me just like, kind of like start kick my leg out, and I'm like, I'm a believer. I believe in God and stuff, but I have never prayed so hard in my life for a cramp to leave me. And that I was like any time but now.
Yeah,
like anytime I get ran over by a car for this, just take this away now. And I just remember stretching it out and kind of just adjusting. You can see me.
I'm gonna watch this later.
Oh, I laughed. I know where it's at because I laugh every time I see it. It's hilarious now. But that could have went two different directions.
What a nightmare in the moment.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. It's like a hip flex, whatever. I don't know what you call that. Like, there's no cure for that other than standing up and like stretching, eating a couple bananas, and giving it
exactly
time.
what you couldn't do in that moment.
Couldn't do it in that time. And I just remember that's when I really focused and just was like, nope, that's not happening.
Push through.
It's not happening. No.
So did you perform the exact solo that you won on?
No, I
Or
kind of
something
won. I wung it. I winged it. I don't know how to pronounce the
I think that's right.
yeah, I winged it. But I did add some. I had some go-to, so I kind of had more like checkpoints.
Sure.
Like I want to do my whole signature behind the back and because I knew that the crowd would like that.
Yeah.
And it's all smoke and mirrors. But if you're young and limber, you can do those things.
Exactly.
I can't really. I haven't attempted. Luckily, they have. I have 2 floor toms, and one of them is 18-inch. But I remember through the competition, I had to do that and reach a 14-inch floor tom. I was like, oh. But I was a lot more flexible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so yeah, but that was a nightmare. It could have been a nightmare, but I shook it off somehow. But that's one of the funny stories of that. Yeah. But yeah, we're going back for the first time on our fall tour. I saw that the Hammerstein Ballroom. We're playing that in New York, and it's my first time ever going back. So I hear all the crew guys, oh, it's a horrible load. And I was like, I don't care. Like that's gonna be a pretty cool full circle moment because I didn't know where my career was gonna be, and now I'm headlining a place with an artist, and
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's gonna be
so awesome,
cool.
man.
I need to invite Chad Smith so he can help me feel better before going on for that show.
He might say something different to you now that you're older.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah, but that was a really cool experience. It was like everything you dream of, to even sit in the audience, but to share the stage. It was cool.
You've heard of Drum Supply, but you gotta see their shop. It's a drum shop experience like no other. They're packed with all the gear a working drummer needs, and so many parts, noise toys, and accessories. It's a toy store. Curated cymbals, kits, and snares. The hands-on percussion room is nuts, and their custom shop work is fast and affordable. Andy and the guys know their stuff, and they're ready to help. And the big news? They've just moved to an awesome new location near the corner of East Trinity Lane and Dickerson Pike. Still in East Nashville, just a couple miles from their old spot, the all-new Drum Supply is twice as big, featuring a dedicated cymbal room, a lesson space, and even more drum gear than ever. Go see the new Drum Supply shop for yourself. Now open 11 to 5 at 2211 Dickerson Pike and online at drumsupply.com.
Well, good. Yeah, I feel like I'm going 90 miles per hour in a 30. So
you're good, man. That doesn't feel. It is like that.
To me though, it is funny to talk about these old things. It's good to talk about them because sometimes you forget. Like I haven't. If I wasn't sitting here talking to you guys about it, I don't think about that stuff, and it's nice to.
Yeah, you wouldn't be going this in depth about.
No, it's nice to be reminded, and that's why I appreciate you guys for having this because it lets people. I mean, you're doing me a solid here because it's helping me kind of reflect on where I've been, what I've been through, what I'm going through, and it just hopefully proves to people that are maybe just moving to town or whatever, like. You got to start somewhere, and it's not going to be easy, no matter how easy, no matter how good you think you are. Like there's no easy button, but it's nice to reflect and to talk about this stuff.
100%.
That's
exactly where I was going to go next. Actually, you've obviously had these incredible moments and been inspired by a lot of big drummers, and kind of bringing it full circle. And now that you're more in have a more mature, stable career as a drummer, more mature player. How have you looked to try to inspire the younger generation, younger drummers, and kind of the words of wisdom, kind of from what you've gone through?
I'm competitive, so I don't tell them anything. I tell them to pick a new career, usually. No, that's not true. In fact, I'm actually, I'm glad you asked that because it is funny, I've been kind of a shy person for most of my life, and I'm kind of timid. I feel like I'm not going to share something unless I feel like it's super wise and worth sharing. So I think where I'm going with that is, I'm very inspired, probably in the last year or two, to I feel like I've received enough from so many people and I've experienced enough to really start giving kind of some inside scoops of my personal thing. Because I never really learned from a lot of people. I just learned from experiences, and everybody's experiences are different. Yeah. So I really want to just start inspiring people mostly through, personal interaction, but I definitely want to start getting more out there, as far as how I do this, how I approach this, because I see that all the time, but I'm like, that's not how I do it. So I've been afraid to share that because I'm afraid they might judge me. They're like, well, that's not how Bonham did it, or and I'm kind of stepping out of that comfort zone in a very confident way. And I just want to start sharing kind of my knowledge and wisdom that I've learned some the hard way.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be career building chops, like building a drum solo. You know, a lot of people ask me that, like, man, how do you do drums? I was like, I'd love to show you, but we don't have time or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to figure out ways to kind of simplify things in a way to be able to present them to people and let them understand it and take that.
Are you offering drum lessons?
I'm going to. Like, yeah, I just transitioned into a new home, so I've taken a little break from that. So, yeah, I mean, anybody, anywhere. I mean, I have capabilities of doing it now live through, you know, Skype. What's the other ones? FaceTime and Zoom. All of those. And you know, I did that during COVID too, and it went really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, feel free to find me on Instagram. Yeah, Donnie Marple, Donnie_Marple is my Instagram. So I check messages on there all the time because I'm just now starting that back up. All my socials, like it's really me. I might have 300 followers, but I deleted all my accounts for a year and just kind of just took a break from it. And
That feel good?
it did. It was scary. It was like jumping into the dark because I was like, what I found, you know, some the hard way, to be honest, is that I was, you know, I've been externally defined my whole life. I was Donnie, the drummer, and I found myself posting things just to get more validation that that was me. I'm good. I'm this. I was waiting for likes and comments to pop up. I'm guilty of it. I mean, I was totally that guy.
That makes perfect sense. I mean, you were literally given awards.
Yeah, and you know, I just think, you know, pride is a killer. I think it can really, and you know, I'm proud of what I do. I think that's a different thing. But to have, you know, my ego, I had to just do a little ego check on myself, and it was a hard thing to do, but it was necessary. And you know, I'm glad I did it. But yeah, starting over, it's kind of nice because it's a clean slate. Like, you know, if a lot of the followers that I had back then were probably, you know, just a couple people from that saw me with Lee or whatever, but it's just nice to have a clean slate and to have people that genuinely want to follow me and get to know me and, you know, learn from me or whatever. If they want to do that, they can. And which means I got to get more content out there.
We got you.
Yeah. I'm going to.
We got you.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for sure. My YouTube and stuff like that. So it's going to be happening. I'm inspired. So.
Oh yeah.
And this helps a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the funny thing, I was thinking about what you said about people at all levels and at all spots in the journey. You're kind of learning something from. You like,
right.
I find, like, I get inspired by somebody's got something to teach me. Everybody's got something, and that's kind of how I feel doing the show. I feel like everyone that's come in, I've been like, oh wow, that's everyone's got such a cool story. People are cool. Drummers are really cool.
I agree.
We're I mean, whatever. You could be a drummer and be a total dick, but I think that people that play the drums are generally they're cool and interesting people, and there's a lot to learn from everybody.
Yeah,
and we're really appreciative that you're here today.
Yeah, well, the pleasure is mine. Yeah, this has been awesome. It's one of my recent highlights being here. The studio's great. It's awesome.
Got your tea vibe.
Man, this tea. What was it?
I don't know what I put in there, but
Cinnamon girl.
Cinnamon girl.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
didn't spike it. Don't worry.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Later.
It's perfect.
How about that second cup, huh?
Anytime.
Dan, are you ready with the special tea?
Specialty. I like that.
Hey.
Good. Yeah, specialty.
We don't always talk drum gear, drum specs and stuff, but since we've, obviously talked about Low Boy as a sponsor and endorsement,
yes.
Give us kind of what you're currently playing with Lee Brice.
I'd love to.
Give us all the nerdy talk. Real quick.
So probably the biggest name up there is the Ludwig. I've been repping them for a while now. I love their classic Maples, but I toured with the Vista Lights last year. It was an easy place for me to go just because of the legacy with Ludwig. And, when I think Ludwig, I know that Buddy didn't play. I don't think he played Ludwig for a long time, but maybe
for a couple of years. Yeah.
And I don't know. I just picture him and Ringo and all these guys that have played and Questlove and I jumped to Questlove there. I don't know what I was thinking, but Quest is a prime example. It's just something about when you sit there, like, I'm part of something big here. It's just cool. It's like wearing if you're a basketball player wearing a Nike check or whatever. It's just something. There's a lot of history there.
Yeah, a lot of pride.
So, and it fits the music so perfect with what I play with Lee. But it's also I've really discovered is it's pretty versatile drums, and they don't have a lot of sing to them, but you can if you want. It's very versatile.
What sizes?
I do 12, 13, 16, 18, and a 24-inch kick.
Nice.
So there's a lot of stuff. But there's a couple fills that need them. So, that's Lee's fault. That's not mine. I Ludwig and then Sabian cymbals, which is big for me because, Chad Smith, Neil, Peart, all these. But Dave Weckl, that was one of the biggest reasons why I love Sabian because of how he made cymbals sound like an instrument for the first time probably that I've ever heard. Just the way he... And some of his designs of the ozone and just real washy but yet roadworthy,
Yeah.
So it's to me it's just a great combination. And Christian Stanke, he's one of the main reps. He's such a kind person, and that connection's always important too. So Sabian cymbals, ProMark and Evans drum heads, D'Addario, and I've actually been with them the longest. That was one of the. When I won Drum Off, sign here, we'll give you an endorsement for a year. Gretsch dropped me. Zildjian dropped me. Oh, yes, I'm saying it out loud. A lot of people are like, year's up.
Right.
And I don't blame them. I was still a nobody. But, I called Sabian. They're like, yeah, we see something here. We can help you out. We got you.
That's cool.
Yeah, but ProMark has always they stuck with me from the beginning. So that was a big ProMark and Evans drumheads. Cymbal, I'm sure you guys have heard of the cymbals. To me, it's one of the most like Shark Tank brilliant ideas ever. Like, why didn't I think of that? And I still use it. Like, I love it. I just, even at the end of a show, sometimes I'll just kind of crash the cymbals. But cymbal, so it's such a cool little invention. What else is there? Gibraltar hardware. Yeah. You got to have something to put the drums on and the cymbals
Do you
on.
have a custom rack setup? Or?
Yeah, I did a bit of rack build.
Nice.
Yep. That's the fun part. That's so much fun.
Yeah.
I think of like Sims. You remember that game?
Let's play that.
The roller coaster building thing. That's what it feels like. And it's like, and I'm such a, I shouldn't say tweaker. That's not a good thing to say. But I tweak things.
You said it, though.
I'm a person who tweaks?
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
Hold on.
It's a game of millimeters for me. Like I could sit down and play pretty much, any kit, but I love getting really, like, I like staying really connected and just kind of being able to, and not having to move too much. And so how much can I fit in my personal space, feeling comfortable and inspired and yet not being, having to stretch too far. So the rack is huge for that with what I do. And plus just consistency, memory locks, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then Akutin snare drums as well.
Okay.
Which I play Ludwig snare drums. That was one of the main reasons I signed with Ludwig, was because of their snare drums. But Akutin snare drums are just, he's a very special friend to me who makes these, and just made out of some really ridiculous metals and some good stuff.
Well, I'm unfamiliar with them.
Yeah, Akutin. It is one of his main snares that he made at the beginning. It was a 14 by 8. It was made out of Inconel metal, which is it can, I think they use it on jet engines or NASA engines or something. And their badges are 24 karat gold and stuff. So they're like, it's cool. It's like I didn't think I'd get that to like a snare drum like that until I got to heaven or something maybe. But there's
here's your metal snare.
Yeah. But Jake Summers,
I was gonna say, I think
Jake Adam Box, he endorses him. Who else? There's a couple other guys. I know that he sent some to Chris McHugh, but it's kind of like a pretty small little circle.
Yeah, exactly.
But
they're not going for mass public consumption.
But like I was texting him yesterday, it's that kind of relationship, and he's proud of what he makes, and I think he's really picky on who he, lets rep them, and and that's just, it's an honor, honestly, because it's just so, like, I've never played a snare drum that when you hit it, it's like there's something different here. Like, a lot of people think snare drum's a dime a dozen. But sometimes when you get something good, and it just works with what I do with Lee, especially.
I love a good rare snare type. Like my buddy pulled a titanium out the other day, and I was like, "This is crazy.
Right.
I love this
Titanium.
Yeah,
What in the world?
Never seen that before. He has a concrete one too.
What?
Yeah,
Blacktop? Does he have a blacktop one?
Yeah,
Concrete.
that's a great
What in the world?
the blacktop model.
asphalt snare.
Yeah.
Oh,
Onto something.
you heard it here, folks.
Founded in 2020, Sonique Drums is dedicated to crafting thoughtfully designed percussion accessories and steam-bent snare drums. Every product is designed and built for drummers who demand quality and reliability. Industry firsts like the NATO family of continually adjustable throw-offs and the socket drum key set Sonique drums apart from the rest. You can find Sonique snare drums and percussion accessories online or at partner drum shops across the U.S., including Nashville's own Nelson's Drum Shop. Check them out at soniquedrums.com.
We've covered a lot. This has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Before we sort of wrap up, is there anything that we haven't covered in your journey or anything that you wish to kind of share with people?
Man, no. I mean, I really just want to just shout out to my family, my two daughters, Ellie in Denver. I told them I would say hi to them. Thanks to mom and dad for being patient and letting me play drums in the house growing up. I thank God that he gave me the gift to play,
Amen.
or I wouldn't be here without it. And yeah, the rest is yet to be written. I'm just here enjoying it. And this is believe it or not, this is coming at a really good timing for me. I just see big things, good things, spreading love, spreading wisdom, whatever. Like you guys are doing a big thing, and I just appreciate what you do too, and for having me on. So yeah, it's great. It's just
Appreciate
good.
that. You're the reason. You're a part of our guests or why we do this.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. It's crazy to hear you say that. I've known who you are forever. So it's crazy to.
It wasn't my
hear that.
dad. We have the same name.
No,
Okay.
no. Me and him go back too, but that's a totally different thing.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's just
awesome.
it's an honor, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been here a while now. Are you heading into wrap up territory?
Yeah, I
Or
was, yeah.
Okay, because I want to ask about like favorite places to eat.
Yeah.
So let's
really?
start. Yeah.
Nashville. Yeah.
Okay.
We're in that territory now. It's the part where we want to find out just random extraneous details. What do you find delicious?
Find delicious. Okay. I love seafood because I think I can prep anything at home. I can make a good steak, good chicken, whatever, but to master seafood. So, but there's a place called The Optimist here in Nashville.
Yeah, I've yet to go there.
Really good.
Germantown, right?
Yeah, in Germantown. Yeah, a friend of mine took me there, and it was really good. And so I'm actually going to take my guys that are coming into Nashville visiting me this week. I'm going to take them there. So that's just kind of a go-to for seafood. Nice. Really good service and good food. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mentioned golf. Obviously, your two daughters. What's a completely non-drumming related hobby or day off? Like you just want to kick it and do X, Y, Z?
Well, I went from never reading a book. Well, I did read Tiger Woods' How I Play Golf. One book, and I didn't even read in school when I was supposed to. So I've been actually reading a lot. I've been kind of just taking time and just chilling and trying to learn. And it's mostly self-help type books and stuff like that. But it's been kind of nice to just kind of have that as an escape. So working out is a big thing for me. I probably need to incorporate more cardio into my working out because, man, summer's coming and I'm already starting to feel winded and things like that. But working out is a big thing. I've been riding my bike a lot, just kind of like, it's just something about escaping, even if it's your house, and having it on the road too. Just having that freedom just to go to a local coffee shop or whatever. That's become a kind of a road.
That's sick. So you bring your bike on tour? Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah, three of us have a bike. So
it's a nice perk.
It is. Yeah. It's nice. Yeah. Other than that, really not a whole lot. I don't watch as much TV as I used to. But yeah, just trying to be a good dad, be a good role model, try to just live a simple life. That's kind of my goal now. Yeah. So
just quick, how has that balance been, being a father, being a drummer on a big gig?
Yeah. Well, one cool thing is like my kids think I'm cool, They're like, oh, you met this person. I got which is, that's cool. But, that's the hardest part. There's times when, you get to experience a lot of really cool things on the road. And there's nothing like sharing things like that with the people you love the most. And to know that they're, at home, and maybe their highlight of the week was having Chick-fil-A, and I'm like, here I am playing Madison Square Garden and getting to meet this and this. And, that's where that even keel comes in. I've been trying to just like really just, really just try to keep everything centered and level. So, it's a blessing to be able to do what I get to do. But there's nothing more satisfying than being a dad, being a good father and a good friend. Those are the most important things. It's not the hands you shake and who you meet and what flyer you were on. And if Chad Smith kind of gives you the smack before you go up on, that doesn't matter compared to what, being a dad and a good friend and a reliable person, so. Yeah.
Beautiful way to end it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Also, if you had to have one dangerous exotic pet, what would it be?
Dangerous exotic pet. I mean, I'm going to have to go with tiger.
I knew it.
I have to. I mean, I think of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson. And
I'm going to tell him you said that.
yeah, in The Hangover.
He watches this.
I'm like, how cool would that be?
That'd be
You know,
so
and plus Tiger Woods is he's my spirit animal.
There you go.
Yeah, his comebacks and stuff. But, yeah. So, but yeah, a tiger. Let's go with a tiger.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I needed to know. You can leave now.
That's a wrap.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was fun, guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah. This is great.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing all this you're up to on the road.
Yeah.
And
Let's go get some
It's all
seafood.
unwritten.
We got time.
That sounds awesome.
I already had. I just told you I had 2 rolls of salmon avocado before this,
Oh,
so I'm sushi'd out.
you didn't have Optimus.
I did not. Yeah.
Anyway.
The last week or two.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nashville Drummers Podcast. If you liked it, please consider leaving us a review on the Apple Podcast app.
Please consider supporting us on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can help support this dream and keep the ball rolling for us. Believe it or not, it's not free or even necessarily cheap for us to make this thing go. To sign up, go to patreon.com/Nashville Drummers Podcast or click the link in our Instagram bio. All of your help is greatly appreciated.
Visit our website, NashvilleDrummersPodcast.com, where you can listen to all past episodes, learn more about myself and Nate, and buy all your favorite Nashville Drummers Podcast merch, including t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, hats, and drum heads. Connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Nashville Drummers Podcast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
The last week or two. So tell me why we even try to deny this feeling. I feel it, don't you feel it too? There's a rumor going round and round and round. What'd you say we make it true?